What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another video. And today, let's talk about my preferred vocal processing chain for voiceover work, podcasting, whatever it is. I've been using this specific chain for a few months now, probably years, depending on when you're watching this. But I've really settled on this because I spent the past while trying to fiddle with the best settings for my personal voice, more of like a male tenor voice, and if you're a female, obviously this is going to be different. Heck, if you're another male, your chain's going to be slightly different as well. But hopefully this video can provide a little bit of the fundamentals of what vocal processing is about, and specifically the way I personally approach it. Now, if you're interested in more of like an entire mixing process and a framework, I want to give you my 6-step mixing framework guide. It's totally free, but it's basically my step-by-step approach to actually mixing as a whole, not just vocals, but an entire production. So it walks through all of the steps like volume balancing, automation, EQ, all that good stuff, all condensed down into one easy to read guide. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, just check it out. Click the link below. It'll take you straight there. And it's my gift to you for checking out this video today. So let's kind of talk about the vocal chain. First of all, I want to show you just the raw recording just very quickly, and then I'll show you what it sounds like with the processing. And then we'll kind of cover each of those plugins in a little more detail. So here's the clip first of all. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So you can hear like overall the quality is relatively clear. There's not very much background noise. Now that kind of segues into the topic of microphones, right? So you could do as much processing as you want to a signal, but if you don't have a decent enough microphone, then it's going to be kind of difficult to get a clean sound that you're looking for. So the microphone I have here is the Blue Blueberry, and it's actually like $1,000 microphone. I paid a lot of money for it, but even if you have something like a $200 Shure microphone, for example, you can still get some pretty good results from that. But for like the clearest type of results, I would definitely recommend some sort of condenser microphone to start with. So anyway, now we know what the original source sounds like. Let's hear it now with the processing. Here we go. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So obviously it's a little bit more upfront. You definitely get more clarity in the voice, and to me, it feels a little more balanced throughout. So let's take a look at what the plugins are here. First of all, we have a de-esser, which obviously helps to minimize some of those S's that are typically popping out in raw recording. So we can see how much is happening here. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? See those S's if you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So that attenuation is how much gain is actually being reduced from those S's. So I kind of went to about the limit where the voice is peaking, because my microphone is always at this consistent level, by the way. In terms of the input gain, I tend to keep it on the lower side because the last thing I want to do is clip the signal, right? So anyway, that's the vocal processing. I'm literally just using the Waves de-esser. And then EQ, of course, and let's hear what it sounds like with the EQ first, and then we'll take it out. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So here it is without. Libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So here, as soon as I turn it on, it actually, it's a little more crispy. It's a little shinier. So that's kind of the high shelf here. I boosted it at about 1.5 decibels. And then I removed a lot of the room and like muddy sounds from my voice. So if you listen to this, hear that low end in there? I didn't really need that. Libraries. And then this part here, a little boxiness there I didn't really like. If you don't like sample libraries, and this part of like tinniness, I didn't really like that as well. And of course, like a high pass filter, just to make sure the lowest lows are not interrupting the voice there as well. So that's part of the EQ. Then I did a little bit of compression. So let's see what it sounds like without the compressor first. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So a lot more dynamic. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends, okay? So it's kind of interesting. Like as soon as I turn it on, it's not a lot of like gain reduction happening, but there's a bit of character there that I really like from this compressor specifically. And yeah, I didn't really have to do much to it whatsoever, but just having that bit of flavor in there definitely feels like it evens it out a bit for me. So then I doubled that with another compressor, which is the CLA2A from Waves as well. So let's turn that off first and see what that sounds like. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Okay, let's turn it on. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Okay. Notice the amount of gain reduction happening here is like less than a decibel, but yeah, it's like very, very subtle. And I did crank up the gain just a little bit because I really like the warm sound that this compressor kind of gives the vocal. So, but yeah, overall, it's more of a subtle movement there, more subtle compression, not very much happening. And you can really use whatever compressor you want. You really don't need the same tools I'm using, but as long as you have some sort of de-esser, EQ, compressor, those are like the basic elements that I think contribute to an even, smooth vocal performance. Then I brought in the Greg Wells voice-centric plugin, and this is just like a sweetener, if you will. So it's like a one-knob plugin, but without it sounds like this. I like sample libraries. And do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Crispier, okay? Right? And let's take it out. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? Put it back in. If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Okay? So yeah, it's a little shinier, slightly more professional, but I put in the doubler and I didn't add in the reverb or the delay because it really doesn't need it. It's just like voiceover work, so it doesn't really need that much stuff. And then finally, I brought in the NS1, which is a noise remover. So sometimes when I have the fans going on in the background, I don't want that to seep through into the recording. So if I turn that off first, you can hear the difference. I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Okay? All right, and then with? I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Let's do that one more time. Without? I like sample libraries. Do you like sample libraries? If you don't like sample libraries, we can't be friends. Okay? So you notice here, in terms of how much I've actually used here, it's like 8. On a scale of like 0 to 100, you don't need very much. Usually less than 10 will do the job nicely. And so, yeah, I just prefer to keep it around 8, and it does the job for me perfectly. Now, just to say, though, this plugin isn't always reliable. Like sometimes it has some weird phasing issues or whatever. I don't really know why sometimes, but I found that having it last in the chain just helps it to glue everything together, just remove some of that background noise, and it's kept the sound pretty consistent throughout. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my vocal chain. And just to reiterate, you really don't need those exact same plugins, but as long as you have a de-esser, EQ, compressor, and then maybe some sort of noise remover if you want to use that sort of thing. If you do have some background noises that you don't like, that are undesirable, you want to get them out, then this is definitely a good plugin to go with. It's pretty cheap. I think I got it for like 20 bucks or something, the NS1. So yeah, pretty good deal for sure. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. Hopefully this kind of gave you an idea of the treatment that I'm doing on my voice for podcasting or voiceover work or my tutorial videos, as you know. And yeah, again, let me know if you have any questions or any comments about it, any thoughts. And if you're interested in a more comprehensive mixing framework that I not only treat vocals with, but like an entire orchestra or an entire production, then I want to give you that 6-step mixing framework cheat sheet. It's a totally free guide. If you want to click the link below to check it out, it'll take you straight there. And that's why I thank you to you for checking out this video. It really is the process I follow every single time I'm working on a mix, and it hasn't really changed in a few years. So it's one to definitely stand by, and it's been foolproof for me. So I want you to have that as well. But anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.